While numerous NFL players do the best they can to stay productive, some guys become massive liabilities.
This Joe Mixon situation in Houston is weird.
We're going to look at 10 NFL players who quietly became massive liabilities and how they've held their team back from becoming perennial playoff contenders. Deshaun Watson. When Watson was traded to the Cleveland Browns, he was already dealing with over 24 lawsuits from multiple women alleging sexual misconduct. Then, the Browns were stupid enough to sign Watson to a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract, which has so far hindered the team from being successful, as he has struggled in regular season games and dealt with injuries. Not to mention, guys like Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders have outplayed Watson during their time with the team. Watson has been one of the league's worst quarterbacks in recent years due to his on-field decline, poor decision-making in games, and taking numerous hits and sacks. Despite that, he's likely going to be the Browns' starting quarterback entering the 2026 season. Unless Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or Taylon Green outperform him during the preseason. The Browns trading for and choosing to extend Watson will go down as one of the worst moves in all of NFL history. Tua Tagovailoa. When Tua Tagovailoa was healthy, he was fun and exciting to watch, as he helped transform the Miami Dolphins into an AFC East contender. Once Mike McDaniel was named the head coach of the Dolphins, he unlocked Tagovailoa's potential and made him a strong offensive powerhouse. Tagovailoa led the league in yards per passing attempt with 8.9 in 2022 and guided the Dolphins to the playoffs, but they lost against the Buffalo Bills 34-31 in the wildcard round. Then, Tagovailoa stepped up in 2023, led the team to an 11-6 record and a second playoff berth, but lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 26-7 in the wildcard round. He also led the league in passing yards with 4,624 that season. After signing a massive 4-year, $212.4 million extension with $167.1 guaranteed, he suffered a gruesome concussion in week 2 of that season, which was just the beginning of the end of his time in South Beach. Tagovailoa refused to wear a guardian cap, drawing criticism from fans and peers alike, who really worried about his safety. However, by 2025, Tagovailoa became a massive liability for the team, as he struggled on the field when healthy, through numerous turnovers during the season, and couldn't get that offensive rhythm going, so much so, Coach McDaniel benched him in favor of Quinn Ewers. Tagovailoa was released by the Dolphins, forcing the team to absorb a record $99 million dead cap hit. Tagovailoa signed a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons to compete for the starting job against Michael Penix Jr. during the 2026 season. Von Miller. Miller was once one of the NFL's most dominant linebackers, making 8 Pro Bowls with the Denver Broncos, helping the team win Super Bowl 50 and being named the game's MVP. After helping the Los Angeles Rams win Super Bowl 56, Miller signed a huge 6-year, $120 million deal with the Buffalo Bills, with the intention of getting them closer to a Super Bowl appearance, but he injured his ACL during the team's Thanksgiving game against the Detroit Lions. The ACL injury hurt Miller during the entire 2023 season and robbed him of being an explosive playmaker that made him a Super Bowl MVP in the first place. Not to mention, Miller also faced legal troubles off the field, as he had to turn himself in over felony assault allegations involving his pregnant girlfriend, which resulted in a 4-game suspension from the league during the 2024 season. By the end of his tenure with the Bills, Miller's workload was reduced and he was no longer the starter that he used to be. He went on to sign a 1-year, $6.1 million deal with the Washington Commanders, where he served as a rotational player and got 9 sacks during his time with the team. Miller's currently a free agent, and it's not exactly known if an NFL team is going to sign him or not. Jamal Adams. When Adams was on the New York Jets, he was an all-pro phenom, causing havoc against opposing offenses with his hard hits and stopping the run. By 2020, Adams was traded to the Seattle Seahawks due to a bitter contract dispute and his unhappiness with the Jets front office. Adams played well for the Seahawks, notching 83 tackles and 9.5 sacks in the 2020 season, even though he suffered a groin injury. Adams then signed a 4-year, $72 million deal with the team, with $38 million being guaranteed. But he began to struggle in the 2021 season with nagging injuries. He suffered a torn labrum during Week 13 against the San Francisco 49ers and was placed on the IR. In 2022, Adams suffered a torn quad in the second quarter of Week 1 against the Denver Broncos and missed the remainder of that season. Between 2021 and 2023, Adams missed 40 games due to injuries. And when he was on the field, well, he lacked the explosiveness that he once had during his time with the Jets and the 2020 season. The Seahawks released Adams in 2024, and he has since had brief stints stints with the Tennessee Titans, Detroit Lions, and Las Vegas Raiders. Bradley Chubb. Chubb is a good veteran linebacker who has brought great play in the pass rush during his tenures with the Denver Broncos and Miami Dolphins. However, Chubb quickly became a liability during his time with the Dolphins due to multiple knee injuries that he sustained throughout his career, including torn ACLs, MCLs, meniscus, and patellar tendon. Chubb hasn't had a double-digit sack season since the 2023 season. Chubb signed a 3-year, $43.5 million deal that has the potential to increase to $52.5 million via incentives with the Buffalo Bills during the 2026 offseason, which is a major concern due to his injury history with the Dolphins and is a significant financial commitment to a veteran who's going to be 30 by week 1. Joe Mixon. Mixon played pretty well during his tenure with the Cincinnati Bengals, helping them reach Super Bowl 56 before they lost to the Los Angeles Rams. Mixon produced 4 1,000-yard seasons on the ground during his tenure with the Bengals and made a Pro Bowl. The Bengals traded Mixon to the Houston Texans during 2024, where he signed a 3-year, $27 million extension, and he looked pretty dang good on the ground, rushing for 1,016 yards and scoring 11 rushing touchdowns. However, his season ended due to a severe leg and foot injury, which also kept him out of the 2025 season while he recovered, making him a huge liability for the Texans. Sadly, the injury failed to heal properly due to setbacks during the recovery, and Mixon was allegedly undergoing unapproved medical procedures to treat his foot injury. Because of that, the Texans viewed Mixon as a financial risk to have on their roster and released him during the 2026 offseason, replacing him with David Montgomery, whom they acquired via trade from the Detroit Lions. Orlando Brown Jr. Brown Jr. has shown great talent as an offensive lineman during his tenure with the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, and Cincinnati Bengals by making 4 Pro Bowls and helping the Chiefs win Super Bowl 57 against the Philadelphia Eagles. However, in recent years, he has become an offensive line liability due to his foot speed slowing down. Brown Jr. has also been affected by injuries in recent years, as he suffered a fractured fibula in Week 7 of the 2024 season. Brown Jr. is still with the Bengals, as he re-signed with the team on a 2-year, $32 million deal for the 2026 season. So, we can only hope that he can improve with the Bengals during this upcoming season. Deebo Samuel. Samuel was once a fun, energetic, and speedy slot receiver in the 49ers offense who revolutionized the wide receiver/running back hybrid position with both his explosiveness and his versatility. Not to mention, he helped the 49ers reach Super Bowl 54 and 58 and made the 2021 Pro Bowl. However, he has now transitioned from a do-it-all All-Pro in 2021 to, well, a huge offensive liability due to a concerning mix of regressing route running, ball security issues, and injuries affecting his play. By the end of his 49ers tenure in his lone year with the Washington Commanders, his explosiveness was gone, and his yards per catch average dropped to career lows. Kyler Murray. Murray transitioned from a highly drafted quarterback to a massive liability for the Arizona Cardinals during his final seasons with the team. Once Murray signed his massive 5-year, $230.5 million extension during the 2022 offseason after leading the team to the playoffs in 2021, his performance and durability steeply declined. Murray took several bruising hits during his time with the Redbirds, resulting in numerous injuries, like a non-contact ACL tear late in 2022 and a foot injury in 2025 that forced him to miss the entire season, forcing Jacoby Brissett to take over the starting role. In fact, there was a weird study clause in Murray's contract requiring him to complete 4 hours of game study per week without the distraction of video games or television. This was all leaked to the public, which created a massive public relations disaster. The clause showed that the Cardinals did not trust their own quarterback's work ethic, preparation, and leadership. Unsurprisingly, the Cardinals released Murray in the 2026 offseason to avoid paying a $19.5 million guarantee before March 15th. But the team still paid him a guaranteed amount for 2026, allowing him to sign anywhere else at a discount rate. Murray eventually signed a 1-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings, where he'll be competing for the starting job against J.J. McCarthy. Javon Hargrave. Hargrave became a massive defensive liability during 2023 with the 49ers as a financial trap, as he really failed to live up to a 4-year, $84 million deal with them and dealt with a serious triceps injury that cost him the 2024 season. The 49ers released Hargrave, and then he signed a 2-year, $30 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings, where he had 52 tackles, 3.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery during his lone season with them. However, he failed to adapt to defensive coordinator Brian Flores' system, and his production significantly significantly declined as the season progressed. Hargrave also dealt with scheme mismatches during his lone season with the Vikings, and because of his bloated contract, it took playing time away from younger defensive tackles. The Vikings released Hargrave, and he signed a 2-year, $23 million deal with the Green Bay Packers. But hey, what other NFL players do you think quietly became massive liabilities for their teams? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.